All right, so I'm going to get into the top 5 biggest food business risks. And so welcome back to Marketing Food Online. So if you are a food business, whether you're running a cozy cafe, a food truck, or even cooking up spices in your home kitchen, you won't want to miss this episode because today I'm actually going to dive into talking a little bit about the top 5 biggest risks in the food industry and how you can actually protect your business from some seriously expensive headaches. All right, but first, a quick shout out to our sponsor of this video, Next Insurance. Now, if you actually haven't heard of Next Insurance, let me tell you a little bit about who they are and what they can do for you. They actually specialize specifically in small business insurance, and they make it super easy for food entrepreneurs like you and me to actually get the coverage we need for our businesses. There's no more confusing paperwork or 3-hour phone calls. You can actually get Next Insurance quotes fast and quickly. How fast? You can actually get a quote in just about 5 minutes or even less. Next up, they also offer tailored coverage. Now, what does that mean? Well, whether you're all about the food truck life or a home-based baker or even running a spice empire, you can customize your specific insurance plan to fit your exact needs and your food business type. And they also offer affordable plans. They understand the budget constraints of small businesses like you and me, so you won't end up breaking the bank. Also, another great thing is their 24/7 support, because emergencies just don't wait for business hours. I've dropped a link down in the description section and even pinned it to the comments. Go take a look over there after the video. All right, so let's dive into these 5 biggest risks every food entrepreneur faces. Trust me, I have learned some of these the hard way. Number 1 is always going to be the biggest, and that's product liability. So now let's talk a little bit about product liability. Whether you're making hot sauces, baked goods, or even full-blown meals, things like contamination, of course, mislabeling does happen. And if a customer gets sick, your reputation and bank account is on the line. With product liability, those are actually covered with legal fees, recalls, and other costs that could sink your business overnight. And trust me, I cannot stress this enough and how important this is, especially if you're dealing with allergens and perishable food items. It's very, very crucial. Number 2 is going to be equipment breakdown. Now, picture this idea, because this has happened to me twice. Your oven breaks down right before the big night of the weekend when you've got a rush, or a refrigerator goes kaput. Now, while you're storing ingredients for your food festival, been there and have definitely not fun. Now, repairs can be super expensive and the downtime is money loss. But with the right commercial property insurance coverage, you can actually get back up with cooking and selling faster without a massive financial blow to your business. All right, so number 3 is if a customer slips and falls. Now, if you actually have a brick and mortar business or even a pop-up food business stand and a customer actually slips and falls, and this can happen in a split second, maybe the floor was wet or a customer tripped over a mat, general liability insurance is your best friend here because it actually covers your medical bills and legal fees if someone claims that they got hurt because of your food business. Trust me, you don't want to handle those types of costs out of pocket. Oh yeah, and number 4, employee injuries. So the number 4 one is a pretty big one actually, because if you have employees, employee injuries will happen. We're talking about cuts, burns, falls, you name it. Kitchens can be chaotic and accidents happen even in the most careful staff. Depending on your state, you may be actually required to have workers' compensation coverage, but even if it's not mandatory, it's a huge safety net for your employees and even your own peace of mind as the business owner. Yeah, no one actually wants to see an employee get hurt, but if it happens, you want to be sure that your employees and yourself are protected with something like this. Oh yeah, so number 5, let's talk a little bit about data breaches. This is something you may not have thought too much about, but it sounds a little techie, I know, but think about this. If you actually use a point of sale system to manage any online ordering or collecting of customer info, you're at risk. Hackers can actually steal payment details or even personal information, and you could be on the hook for notifications, legal expenses, and even credit monitoring for your customers. Cyber liability insurance, though, can actually save you a ton of bacon, no pun intended, if you end up dealing with a breach like this. And this is exactly how insurance has your back. So you've heard the top 5 risks. What's the big takeaway from this? Insurance isn't just an extra expense. It's actually a huge lifeline for small businesses. One lawsuit, one big equipment failure, or even a data breach can actually wipe out a ton of your money from your small business in an instant, in no time. The good news is, with companies like Next Insurance, you can actually get the coverage that's tailored to your food world without jumping through a million hoops. Now, to wrap this up, you definitely want to check the link, as I mentioned. It's going to be in the description section, and I'll put it on the pinned comments down below. If you have any questions about this, definitely let us know. If this was hugely helpful and, of course, informative, give us a big thumbs up. And if you actually use Next Insurance, What has been your take on it? Let us know down in the comments section. I'll see you guys on our next video.